Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Awaken Authentic Self. If you're watching me for the first time, I am your coach, Jill Young, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. For those who've already subscribed, thank you for joining. And so today I want to talk about all that's pretty much going on right now with the government, employees. A lot of them are at a job loss. People who are the probationary period employees are being laid off. And if you're not familiar with probationary period, basically if you've been in the government for less than a year, you did not complete your probationary period, those people are being laid off pretty much across the government wide right now because they're trying to downsize the government. And so I was on social media the other day and I heard Michael Steele say, we have, people losing their jobs, for injustice, and nobody is saying nothing about it. And that we all need to get up off of our, butts, pretty much, because I don't curse. He said ASS, but pretty much people need to get up off of their butts and speak up about it. We have, Trump in the White House, but, his right-hand man, Elon Musk, is pretty much running things. And he was talking about how, Elon Musk has, is pretty much has his hands in everything. They know everything about us, right? And so people don't understand, how they play the middle class against the poor. They play the poor against the middle class, but the real people, the real villains out here, it's not the middle class. It's not the federal government workers. It's not government workers. It's not the poor. It is the filthy, wealthiest, rich people in this world trying to make the middle class people, such as all those firings that's going on to save money, use them to help cover so that they don't have those loopholes, for their taxes, making billions of dollars. Now, their billions of dollars could probably cover the whole country deficit, right? But they want to take the money off of the middle class and even the poor so that they don't have to pay a higher tax rate. And so a lot of people think, there's been these talks going on about, getting rid of the IRS and all of this. Nobody likes the IRS because nobody likes tax collectors. But what would that really look like if there was no longer a tax system and everybody was paying the same amounts of taxes? So that means you have these different classes of people. You have the poor, you have the middle class, and you have the rich, all paying the same amount of taxes across the board. So how much do you think it's going to cost to get you eggs at the grocery store? How much do you think it's going to cost to buy your child a pair of shoes? The sales tax is going to be the same across the board. How much do you think, if you want to go buy a car, you want to go, lease a car, how much do you think the taxes is going to be? So everybody would have to pay the same amount to level set things so that the most richest people in this country will not be paying as much in taxes. But to make up for that, the poorest people in this country will be paying the same amount of taxes than the rich. So people, we really need to think, when they tell us things and before we accept it. And we need to do our research and find out exactly what that means specifically to you, what it specifically means to the majority of Americans in this country. And so we're coming up on some hard times. I really pray that those who are getting laid off, who lost their jobs, I pray that they all are able to get their jobs back. Because if you took that buyout that Donald Trump is offering, you won't be able to fight if you ever needed to or ever choose to legally, fight about getting your job back. So that's one thing, to consider. But I pray that they are all able to return back to work. It's really sad that, we have the people who, make the most money in this country running things. This is supposed to be a democracy. It's supposed to be the people. There's more of us in quantity, right? But so many people are afraid to speak up and say something. So I feel responsible because I have this platform. And although I don't have many subscribers yet, I do want to play my part, and I do want to speak out and say something, because something does have to change. And so, thank you, Michael Steele, for saying that, because we all need to do our part in our own little hemisphere, in our own little world. Whatever we can do, protest, speak out. If you have a YouTube channel, if you have a platform, speak out about it. Get people talking about it and help to raise that awareness, because a lot of people don't really know what's going on. And then you talk about this DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and people are under the assumption that it just has to do with black minorities, but it doesn't have to just to do with black minorities. It covers people with disabilities. So we're talking about people in the government able to, get jobs more easily because they have a disability. There's a lot of discrimination out here. And just because you have a disability does not mean you cannot do a job, especially a job where it just requires the mind, right? Let's say if a person has cerebral palsy or something like that, but mentally they can be sharp, they can be smart. DEI, that helps, people like that get, consideration into the workforce, into the government, to more easily get jobs and not get discriminated against. It also helps veterans. What about those who serve this country in our military? So people need to get educated about what things mean and what's going on, because they're targeting, things that are helpful to people, to defund the government, to save themselves money. It's not to benefit you all. Oh, I bet you anybody who's watching this channel right now, you're probably not going to be a billionaire. So what they're doing right now in Congress, the president, it's not to help most of you. It's not to help most of you. It's a small percentage of people in this country, probably less than 5%, people who are making billions and billions of dollars. That's who they are helping. That's who they are helping, or trying to help. So let's not, repeat things like, well, those people in the government don't do their job, these people are getting laid off. They do their job. When you don't have people, the government workers, doing their job, you all who need things funded are not going to get what you need. You're not going to get what you need because the workers are not going to be there processing that paperwork and processing that data. So they're weakening or trying to weaken the government, and people are losing their jobs through this injustice, and nobody's saying anything about it. And a lot of times we lose, from not speaking up. You ever heard that saying that the squeakiest wheel gets its oil, right? If you don't make a noise, if you don't make a sound, nobody is going to come to help you. The sometimes you get more respect by speaking up and making an impact, making a change. It may not be significant, but because you are obedient and you speak out and help in some way, in a way that you can, I believe, God will bless us for things like that. God will protect us. He will bless those who help people. So that's all I really wanted to talk about. Go ahead and comment, give your thoughts about it. I love to hear it. If you got to the end of this video, I thank you for watching, and I will see you again here another day.